Maeve Williams back again for another season with Waterford. Happy to be back with your local club.
Yeah, delighted. I think we had a strong season last year, first year in the league. Good time to lay foundations, and I suppose made an account of ourselves last year. So yeah, looking forward to another season with the Blues.
Mid-season, you took over the captaincy, wearing that captain's armband. You're a local Waterford girl. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, it's great, to be honest. I hadn't ever really imagined myself like in that position, but I love it. I grew up watching the Blues, going to the games, being a Blues fan. So playing for them and being able to represent and lead the girls out, I love it.
How would you assess that season? Because it's some good results, good performances, some very difficult moments. How would you assess it?
I would say, one of the main things we took, I suppose, from last season is kind of we had a lack of consistency. So we were quite up and down. We had good performances and good results, kind of mixed with poor performances and results that we were frustrated with. But I suppose, looking back, consistency has to be key for us this year, going into our second year, and that we have to be able to perform and deliver consistently.
How do you get that? How do you sort of push on and get that consistency? Because the league is growing and growing week in, week out, season after season.
Yeah, it's difficult. Look, at consistency, I suppose everybody talks about it. It's difficult, especially having such a young team and such young players in your team. It's difficult to deliver that consistency when you have players that are still learning their trade and still trying to develop their skills. But I suppose it comes with gelling as a group. It comes with experience, and it comes with a positive environment as well.
I've heard from top managers over the years where they talk about that season in the league, you know, what it can do, what it can make. Like, with that young squad, how big of a step on do you think them players can make who've got that bit more experience?
Yeah, look, it's a huge step. It's always a huge step stepping into the Women's Premier Division for the first time. But we've got such a young squad now, and I think we're not interested in hearing about a lack of experience now, because at the end of the day, we've players who haven't done their leaving cert yet, who have played nearly a full season with the Blues. So I think it can't be an excuse anymore this year. The whole it's a lack of experience. It's a young team, so we've actually got quite a lot of experience in the dressing room now in terms of our first season under the belt. So I think that's something that we'll be looking to build on.
Take me back to when you played Shelbourne, your first home game last year in the RSC. There was over 1,000 there. What was that moment like, walking out?
I suppose it's bittersweet looking back at the game. The result in the end, obviously, was poor for us and something we were disappointed with. But I suppose the event and looking back at the day as a whole, there's so much positive to take from it. There was lots of young girls there. The stand was full. It was a really loud game. We kept ourselves in it for an awful long time. I suppose, yeah, it's bittersweet, as I said, but it's a fond memory actually looking back. It was actually my first time playing in the RSC ever as well. So
you've had a bit of a difficult couple of years before that, where you probably weren't playing as much football as you'd like.
Yeah.
Last season, to play so much football,
yeah,
you must have been really happy with that.
I loved it, and I loved playing for Waterford. I loved playing in Waterford. I suppose things for me at Wexford, I loved my time at Wexford. I had a great time, and I have lots of people to thank for everything I achieved at Wexford. But I suppose that moving on to Waterford was something that felt right for me. So moving into a new dressing room and a younger dressing room, kind of suppose having a different role as a leader, as an older player, something that I wasn't too used to at Wexford. But I've really enjoyed it. I loved playing every week. I loved putting on the Waterford jersey.
Talk to us about the influence of Gary Hunt.
I think Gary for us last year was brilliant. I think he got a really good balance of, obviously it's a difficult environment to come into as a manager. You've got a lot of young girls, you've got girls who had that bit of inexperience mixed with some of us who would have had a bit of experience before. So I suppose I think Gary got that right in terms of the balance and how he treats the players and the environment that he created. And I think his kind of priorities throughout the season were aligned with us as players. And I think he got it right. I think he got the mentality right, and he built the environment last year.
I want to shift focus slightly. You're loved within the community of Waterford. Talk to us about that and your work that you do within the community.
Yeah, I suppose the club has always kind of been a big part of me and my family, and I suppose I always just wanted to be involved. So knowing people previously coming into the club was huge for me, because I felt like I didn't feel like I was coming into a new environment. I felt like I was coming into somewhere that I was already familiar with. So I absolutely loved it in that way. It's nice to be living in Waterford too. You know, I can get around and get to the different community events. I know a lot of the fans, a lot of the supporters groups. And I love being a part of it. I love it.
If you look back to when you started out with Wexford Youths and you're starting now in this league, brand new, fresh, first time playing in the league, what advice would you give to a Maeve Williams now?
Wow, that's tough. I don't think there's a lot I'd do differently, but I would say that I've learned quite a lot of self-awareness about myself. I've learned a lot about myself and about the kind of player that I need to be. I suppose the advice that I'd give to myself 8 years ago would be to focus on myself only and stop looking at other people and just think about myself and be selfish at times. I probably should have been more selfish at times.
Last one. What do you like? How would you describe your leadership style within that dressing room of Waterford? Because you're one of the most experienced players.
Yeah, I suppose in terms of leadership, I want to be someone that players can look up to, but also someone that players don't feel too distant from. You know, we've got a lot of young girls in the dressing room that are coming into this environment for the very first time, and I want them to feel that they can approach me and that I'm there for them and I'm their teammate first of all before I'm their leader. You know.
Brilliant, mate. Thank you very much.
Perfect.